Hello, I'm Siglali Matildes. I'm a first year at Fresno State and I'm also majoring in pre-vet. And here are my slides on against animal testing. For my first slide, I did what is animal testing? And animal testing is experimenting on animals for scientific purposes. These animal testings can include chemical, drug, food, or product testing. Testing is usually done on animals to hopefully find what it can be applicable to the humans and maybe even other animals, whether it's food, drugs, chemicals, and even body parts. The history and background on animal testing. So we know that animals have been used for testing for ages, millions of years. But during my research, I have found that they've been used as early as 384 through 322 BC. At the time, most of the testing was done on living animals, and even today, they still kind of are. Over the years, animal testing has been done for an understanding of anatomy, physiology, pathology, and even pharmacology. According to the National Library of Medicine, in recent years, animal testing has come under severe criticism by mostly animal protection and animal rights groups. Because of these groups, they have passed a federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which requires safety testing of drugs on animals before they can be marketed. The testing just has to be done in what they call a humane way. Yeah. And then my third slide was unethical aspects involving animal testing. And according to an article that I read about PETA, or from PETA about animal testing, 90% of the basic research, most of them involving animals, fail to lead to new treatments for humans. So we are seeing more and more animal testing, but we aren't seeing new results or failed results. And ultimately, it doesn't lead to anything good, especially nothing that benefits us as the humans. This means that animals are being tested on and living a short life, suffering for no good outcome. Laboratories will also use animals that aren't protected by the Federal Animal Welfare Act, so they can't be criminally charged. Then that's why we see many different animals besides like dogs, guinea pigs, rats, monkeys being tested on. And that is all for my slides.
Hello, my name is Nadas Aguilar, and I'm going to be going over the slides I have created within our Against Animal Testing presentation. The first slide I'm going to be going over is cultural importance. So, animal testing has been culturally important for decades in helping advance medicine, but growing awareness of animal suffering has made many question its ethics. Even with the efforts like the 3 R's, which are replace, refine, and reduce, millions of animals still suffer in labs each year. This shows that cultural awareness alone is not enough. While animal testing once symbolized scientific purpose, our culture should now reflect compassion by replacing it with more modern, humane research methods that do not harm animals. My second slide I'm going to be going over is the sociological importance. Animal testing is sociologically important because it reflects society's values and shapes the relationship between science and the public. New developments like genetically modified animals and personalized medicine make people's opinions about animal research more important than ever. Studying public attitudes helps scientists understand what society considers acceptable when using animals in experiments. The third slide I'm going to be going over that I have created is the current events related to animal testing. 1. The government sets out to phase out animal experiments. The UK government wants to cut down on a lot of animal testing and use new tech like AI and lab-grown organs instead. They plan to stop using some tests on animals like mice, dogs, and primates over the next few years. The second point mostly relates to the first one. Could AI put an end to animal testing? The UK plans to phase out animal testing and use new methods like AI and organs on a chip. Some testing will still use animals, but the goal is to reduce them by 2026, and many people support this change in ethical science.
Hello everyone, my name is Juliana Chavez. So, reasons against animal testing. Reason number one, animal experimentation is inhumane and cruel. Any animal used in experimentation is subjected to any force feeding, water or food deprivation, injuries, wounds, pain, and any remedy to study healing process. For example, the Animal Defenders International, the ADI, discovered a research study where rats were restrained into tubes and forced to inhale paint until they suffocated. Additionally, most experiments are flawed studies, often wasting the lives of the animal for little knowledge. In the US alone, it was found that 59% of research done on animals was poorly designed, and meaning the lives used produced little scientific value. Reason 2. Results of the animal experiments do not reliably predict human health effects. Drugs not tested on animals have about the same success rate as those used on animals, making it unnecessary and reliable. On average, 94% of drugs used on animals that appear safe and effective don't show the same results in humans. Scientists also have overlooked drugs because they are harmful to animals. However, some of these treatments have found to benefit humans. For example, the drug tacrolimus FK506 can help prevent organ rejection, but was almost thrown out because it wasn't compatible with animals. Reason number 3. Other methods can replace animal testing, reducing the need for any animal experimentation. Modern alternatives to animal testing were found to be more reliable because of its accuracy and humane method. A French company used 3D bioprinting technology to create human-like tissues and organs for testing the toxicity of a drug to human livers. Scientists can also create realistic human skin models in labs, making animal testing unnecessary. The Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) states that they plan to stop chemical testing on mammals by 2035. There are also regulations in animal testing. However, they are not that great. Regulations in the United States started in the mid-1960s because people were upset about how the animals were treated. In 1966, however, the Animal Welfare Act was created to protect these live animals. These animals were regulated in the U.S. The AWA law to protect only covers dogs, cats, monkeys, guinea pigs, hamsters, rabbits, and any warm-blooded animal, excluding all others, including rats, mice, monkeys, and many more. This law ensures that every research facility must have an Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee, a IACUC. The committee must have at least 3 members, 1 veterinarian, and 1 not affiliated with the institution. Limits of the animal research regulation. The AWA law controls how the animals are housed and transported, but not how they are treated in experiments. Most lab animals, rats, mice, birds, and farm animals, like I mentioned before, are not protected from the AWA law, but they make up around 85 to 96% of all animals in animal testing. Government facilities must follow stricter rules, including care for all vertebrate animals, reduce pain when possible. Non-animal testing methods. Organ on chips. Human cells are linked with tiny chips to mimic real organs. This can be used to test drug effects and has an accuracy of 87%. Organoids. Organoids are miniature 3D organs that are grown from stem cells to model organs. They are used to model diseases and drugs in human tissues. The accuracy of organoids vary depending on the organ, but has a high success rate compared to animal testing. Machine learning, or AI. Algorithms from computers can analyze human data and predict drug or chemical effects with a 91% accuracy. And then there's a microphysiological system, MPS. This is a combination of organ on chips, organoids, and fluid flow to replicate human physiology. And then this right here in the corner is an image of an organ on chips to show an example. The summary. Animal testing involves using animals to study drugs, chemicals, and diseases, but these studies can cause suffering and often fail to produce any useful results for human trials. Additionally, many common lab animals are not protected by U.S. law. Lastly, modern alternatives like organ on chips are possible and more accurate to test new treatments. Based on the evidence presented, our group concludes that with the widespread suffering of animals, low reliability, and availability of modern alternatives, animal testing is inhumane, unnecessary, and unethical. Instead, we should prioritize humane methods to protect animals while still testing new treatments. These are our references. Thank you for listening.